everybody, on this 17th of September, a Friday. And well, it still feels like summer out. I was outside visiting with a guest at my home studio here. So anyway, wish you all well there. And we're going to talk about something really, it's on my heart, and it's on our community's heart, and it's on our nation's heart. It's about our Afghan refugees. And we're going to talk with Nathan White. He's Director of External Engagement at World Relief Chicagoland. So here comes Nathan. We'll bring him up. And it gives a little countdown. There he is. There's the brother. Thank you for coming by this way.
Thank you, John. I'm glad to be here and glad to have a conversation with you.
I'm going to give you, I did this for Matt Sarnes. I said it's my welcome, Matt, but that didn't play. That was too much for me. Welcome, Matt. But it's Matt. It's welcome, Nathan here. So we just thank Nathan for stepping by with us just a few moments. I thought first, maybe before we get too deep in our little interview, was just give us a little about your background and how you got to World Relief and just that general type of thing.
Yeah, I'm glad to. So I originally hail from the mountains of Virginia, I'll say, but I went to school at Virginia Tech, became a Hokie, and actually started some of my journey of getting to cross cultures there with some friendships that helped me grow a lot. But real quick version is went to North Carolina for a stretch, got married, have 3 children, and about a year ago moved up here to Chicago to join the team with World Relief. It's a much longer story of God's provision and his faithfulness, but we'll probably have to cover that on another day sometime, John.
Okay, well, you got here in Chicagoland and World Relief. That's beautiful. And now that was West Virginia or Virginia?
Virginia, right on the West Virginia border, but it was still Virginia.
Okay, it's right. Okay. Well, the topic out there, as we all been thinking about in the last weeks here since the change, downfall, or whatever you want to call it, in Afghanistan. I'm going to, 1 second here, I'm going to throw up a little map here. There's Afghanistan, surrounded country. And we know that most of our refugees right now are coming out from that Kabul airport evacuation. I'm sure they're getting out other ways, right, Nathan? But is that mostly where you've been seeing the refugees coming from?
Yeah, the vast majority that we know of, or the ones that will be arriving here in Chicagoland, have come through the Kabul airport and then have come to military bases around the U.S. So, but as we would imagine, people are looking for ways to seek refuge, right? And I imagine we'll be learning more about what that looks like in the future as we start to hear more people's stories directly.
Yeah, here's an example of that, a military base. I think this is Fort Bliss in Texas, I believe. And there's several around the country where they're going, right? The refugees?
Yes, I don't remember the exact number, but I believe it was somewhere around 5 different forts where refugees were arriving and getting some of that initial orientation to the U.S., as well as some of this just the screenings that the government has as standard practice.
Yeah, the screenings is, we get a lot of, I'm sure you do at World Relief and other groups that are helping these people that need help here about, quote, vetting. And you want to discuss that on the vetting and how does that work?
Well, what I can say is I don't know the intricacies of it. That's okay. The specifics. But what I do know is that in the history of the refugee resettlement program, there's never been an American life lost on U.S. soil from a terrorist attack by a refugee. That just hasn't happened. And for over 40 years of a program, that just goes to show how remarkably safe and secure the refugee resettlement program is. So that's what I can tell you. The intricacies I trust with the people who do that kind of vetting all the time.
Yeah, I know your World Relief, I would call it refugee expert, Matt Sorens, I think, has brought that up many times, what you just discussed there about
He's
there's
yeah,
no history of, quote, a terrorist or something coming in this way. Um,
yeah.
I just saw a little while ago before coming on here, this senator, no, not a senator, a representative in Montana was saying bad things about refugees. Of course, the governor there in Montana wants them to come there. And I know Illinois is a welcoming state, and most of our governors, Republican, Democrat, have been want to welcome these people who were associated with our time in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I was actually speaking with Matt recently, and he was, just clarifying how there's pretty significant bipartisan support for helping those who helped our country. So coming alongside of people who helped with interpretation, with the military, or any of those things. So it's a special moment, right, to have that bipartisan support, and we're thankful, very thankful.
Yeah, that's a very good thing, and I don't know. We can say that the things at that airport, were a little chaotic, and that's true. And maybe it could have been done better. That's another question. But let's just talk about what the action is about those that are here, and they're going through bases overseas, and then they're looked at there, and then when they come here, they're looked at too before they go to your programs, right? They're vetted several times.
Yeah, one of the specific things that's worth noting is the those who hold special immigrant visas for partnering and working with the U.S. military. They also had some of that initial security screening early on before they started working with the U.S. So some of them, this is really multiple times that they've done that. But as you mentioned, a lot of what we can talk about is what it looks like once they arrive here and begin to they've made it through that not treacherous, but made it through that tumultuous journey, right? That is not just one flight over, but it's a flight and a stay and waiting, and then finally getting through and sort of connected to the next thing. So, when families and people are arriving here, we really want to be able to extend the love that we have felt, right, from God and from our community members to them, and want to do that well. So yeah, that's a lot of what we're really big picture focusing on, is creating a community where refugees and immigrants thrive.
Right. And I think I know all my friends at World Relief have also brought up in the past about just the very spirit of these people for, I guess we would say, business or just education or just contributing to our community. Refugees have done an amazing job, and when you think about the numbers here, let's get real here. If it's 125,000 out of 300 and we got 40 million people. I mean, it's a quote drop in the bucket that way, but they do give us a new heart, and they show us how we should love, and that's what World Relief's doing, is showing how we should love. And the special immigrant visa, that's some of the people, right? And
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, uh-huh.
there are others who are coming as sort of classic refugees, so to speak, is in the existing system. But then there are others who are coming under humanitarian parole, who again, are invited to the country for a time to finish some of the process of applying for, or if they can, applying for a permanent legal residency. So that's actually one of the areas where we're inviting people to advocate, is to join in to help create pathways for people who are coming to be able to pursue permanent legal residency in the U.S. Additionally, one of the things that we're really going to be leaning on the community and trusting in community partnerships and churches specifically is helping to provide the resources needed, for those first 3 months. Because those who are coming with humanitarian parole don't have the same level of support that refugees do. So we really need a lot of community partnership, probably in a way that we haven't seen before with World Relief, or even definitely not in recent years.
Yeah, I do remember this from a previous conversation with Matt or Susan, I forgot, Director Susan. But that was this, I guess you used the word parole status. They do not qualify for some of these extra benefits that would help along this way to just get them going more. And there's some, I don't know what the bill is, I should look that up, but there's legislation being proposed to work on that front to help these people. And we should get behind that. The local congressman here where I'm at here in the western suburbs, 14th district, is Laura Underwood, and then we have Bill Foster out this way, and then we have Kaysen, I think. Oh, what's that? It's the wrong name. Is that the right name? Well, anyway, we have several representatives out this way that, and then of course I have our senators Durbin and Duckworth. Senator Durbin is really a forefront on immigration, so he would be a good person to connect with on this. And how many people do you expect right now in the next weeks, months coming into World Relief in Chicago area, Afghan refugees? How many would you got any ideas on numbers right now?
Yeah, I do have ideas on, we have good ideas on numbers as best we can right now, but it is still very much an evolving situation. But as of this point, we are expecting to help resettle 150 or more Afghans in the Chicagoland area in the months ahead. And that's going to all happen in addition to the kind of rebuilding that the U.S. government's doing of the refugee resettlement program. That's going to result in World Relief Chicagoland serving about 750 refugees from all over the world. So you add those together and it ends up being a fair number of people that we're serving. But Afghans specifically, we're expecting over 150.
Oh, I forgot when I talked with your director and Matt and others. Have we upped the number yet? Is Biden the administration upped the number? Was it like 65,000? And I think we want maybe 125,000. Has that number been increased yet? Or is that could cause some little hiccup here too, couldn't it?
At this point, what we have is the promise to set that as the presidential determination of the 125,000. So, at this stage, that number has not yet been set, but that is commonly set, sometime in the weeks ahead of us as they close out the fiscal year and start the new fiscal year.
Oh, so, I forgot. That's coming up like October 1st or something.
Yep. October 1st is the federal fiscal year, and that's typically when that number is set. So we're, advocating, of course, for the administration to keep their promise of setting the number that at that level. Which would be a big, just a big indication of a welcoming and open posture for those who are seeking refuge.
Oh, that would be a big help here. Yeah, well, it's only a few weeks away, so let's hope that does happen. Those numbers do go up.
And John, if I may, one of the things that we're excited about, but also is a good thing to share with those who are looking for a way to partner, is that this is going to be about a 700% increase in refugee arrivals from the fiscal year that we're closing out now to this coming year. So that's pretty significant.
I want to say if this is in your heart, we'll talk more about it. But I was just thinking there's stuff on your website about job. I mean, there's a lot of, it's just going to be an upgrade here, right, at World Relief quite a bit to really handle this, right?
Yeah, we do. Right now we do have some job openings. So, if God is tugging on your heart, maybe it's worth going through that discerning process, having some people talk it through with you, and consider maybe this is something you could join in from an employment front, even. But in addition to that, we're right now incredibly thankful for so many people that have inquired about volunteering and people who have donated items for welcome kits. And while we're in what I would say is a little bit of a season of catching up with our capacity, right? We have a lot of people
Right.
interested, and we're just doing our very best to not cut corners on training, to continue to set up people to have an incredible opportunity to serve and also be blessed by the experience of volunteering. We want to do it right, so it's taking us a little bit of time. So we are asking for people to be patient. And with the many, many donations we've received from welcome kits, I was speaking with the woman who's managing that right now, and she says in about 3 months' time, we are still going to need more, even with what has come in, and even with our warehouse being almost at maximum capacity. So with that, we anticipate there will need to be longer-term partnership happening, over the coming year, but then also the 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, even beyond that.
Right. It's I remember a few years ago you had an event, and I think I met your president. I forgot. I wish I remember the names better, but the general thrust was it's going to take a while because it went down the whole, and I know your offices went down, and it's going to take a while to really reboot here to get really back. And this is a really, I don't know, let's just use the word beautiful opportunity from God to really help here uh, with this situation. And you said there was 125 coming to Chicagoland Afghan refugees right now, and then there's just a general over 700?
So yeah, 150 Afghans and
150.
750 refugees from other parts of the world.
What was that other 750 on the other?
750.
And 150, and is that including the Afghans, or so that'd be 900 total then? Is that it, or 750 total?
I would say our best ability to estimate, we're likely looking at closer to 900 total, but
Yeah.
we're still figuring out how these numbers intersect with each other.
Right. And so you have now, you work with churches and individuals to help more or less monitor and sponsor or work with these families. Is that part of is that how that works, or how?
Yeah, I would say.
I know they're going to need help. So I know your office does a lot of that, but you need people on the ground, right? So.
Yeah, what I would say is that, our mission as an organization with World Relief has two mandates. One is to empower and equip the church. So that's, providing opportunities for partnership, for engagement. And then the other mandate is to serve those who are in vulnerable situations. And, for us, that's immigrants and refugees. And there's lots of different ways that individuals and church groups can serve. But one example is what I would call a good neighbor team. And that's, commitment of a team for to come alongside of a new arrival or a new arrival family, come alongside making a financial contribution as a component of that and inviting them to do that, but then also committing to 6 months or so or more to walk with the family through just the components needed for everyday life. In addition to that, one of the things that we have is called a friendship partner, and it is really, it is what it sounds like, right? Like, it's the process of becoming a friend with someone to help them navigate life. So right now, we are still in the process of sorting through all the inquiries we've had and training people. So we're not plugging people into those positions right away, but we are going to need more people to not just help with the 150 Afghans who are coming, but also the 750 refugees that'll be arriving as well.
Right. And of course, World Relief's got other programs too about going through the whole documentation and immigration to be citizens too. I mean, there's a lot of things World Relief does with helping the immigrant. So Here's where you can get more information: Chicagoland.worldrelief.org at Afghan-allies. I looked at that site. That looks it's got about everything you could think of there to help. So Nathan would more like you to get involved with that. And you can go to Facebook too on this. But I think that website there, internet one, was pretty good. Now then we got a Facebook World Relief Chicagoland. That's got updates too of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So Nathan, we want to get people involved. So you got any thoughts? We can sort of. You want to just pull things together here? What would you say?
Well, I think the thing that I would share is an analogy to kind of describe the situation we're in presently. And it has to do with one of those big airplanes, maybe a 757. I'm not an airplane guy, so I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. But the really big ones at O'Hare or Midway that line up, they have lots of passengers. They get lined up on the runway, and then they start to rev the engines, but they don't release the brakes quite yet. And once the engines have reached a certain point, they then release the brakes and start to have a lot of that forward momentum. I think where we are right now is we, as an organization, as a community, are like finishing that lining up. We're revving the engines. We're getting volunteers in place. We're getting apartments set up. We're doing those kinds of things. And then soon we're going to be releasing the brakes as more Afghans and refugees begin to arrive, even in this coming week. So right now, like we're in a place where we are getting ready to take off, and we'll need lots of people coming and being a part of the movement to help kind of fuel the jet, so to speak.
So you think in the next couple of weeks that you might be launching or off the pad? Is that what you're saying? It's coming soon?
Yeah, what I will say is that this month in September, we've had 39 refugees some have been resettled, some are going to be resettled this month, and that's the most that we've had since January of 2017. So I would say we're starting to move down the runway right now.
Down the path, down to the takeoff here, and so there's going to be. Let's just use the word least. Maybe there might be more, but it's probably going to be around 150 there, and another 750 international refugees. So that's a pretty good lot just coming to this area, and so they need you. Let's look at this website. Let's sign up. Let's go. I'll try to work with my church, and let's get that going too. Work with your church, work with individuals that way. We got to get it going. Mm-hmm. So, Nathan, I thank you for stopping by and just taking the time from your busy schedule. Nathan's got other things happening this afternoon, so he's a busy guy, and we appreciate him coming by, and we appreciate World Relief. So look at this website, chicagoland.worldrelief.org/Afghan-allies. That's real good. It's got a lot of information there. So, brother, I thank Nathan for coming by and just taking a little time from his day to be with us, and we love that. And I'm just going to briefly say one thing. Monday we'll be back. We're trying to work more with our health front here. Maybe we'll have somebody on Monday or next week more on health and with the COVID situation. I've been working with that, folks. So we'll be doing that. You can see some of the helps down at the bottom of the screen about COVID. So get those shots, and flu shots are coming up too real soon here. So I got to say again, thanks to this brother for coming by, and thanks, Nathan, and just everybody out there. I hope you have a good day. And so I'm just going to say right now, God bless you out there, and bye-bye. And again, thank you, Nathan. Bye-bye.
Thank you, John. Farewell.
Bye-bye, everybody.